Have you ever felt like you see the world differently than everyone else? Like you feel things more deeply? Notice things no one else talks about? And carry a kind of energy that others sense but don't always understand? Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the mood, like your spirit was reading something invisible that others missed? If so, you're not imagining it. You're not too sensitive. You're not overthinking. You're gifted. You've been chosen. And this message didn't find you by accident. Life as a chosen one doesn't look how people expect it to. It isn't glamorous. It isn't shiny or easy. It's raw. It's lonely. It's intense. It can feel like the world is moving on the surface while you are being pulled into the deep. You're not here to fit in. You're here to awaken, to break cycles, to carry light into dark places, even when it costs you everything. You've been given the ability to feel beyond words, to sense lies without proof, to recognize energy that's out of balance, and to know truth even when it's hidden. And because of that, your path has never been simple. You've walked through pain that few could understand. You've had to learn lessons the hard way, often in silence. But nothing was wasted. All of it was shaping you into someone who can't be fooled, someone who carries strength quietly, someone who has survived battles most people didn't even see. But with great power comes great responsibility and great danger. When your spirit carries this much light, it attracts both beauty and resistance. Some people will be drawn to you for reasons they don't even understand. Others will feel uncomfortable in your presence without knowing why. And some will try to take from you, mimic you, or even attack what they don't understand. You're not paranoid. You're perceptive. And you're not weak for feeling drained after being around certain people. You're just sensitive to what others ignore. That's why you need spiritual armor. You need to protect your mind, your peace, your power, and your purpose. Not everything should be shared. Not every truth is safe in every space. There are some things you must keep sacred, hidden, and guarded. Not because you're afraid, but because they're too precious to be exposed to careless hands. One of the first things you must protect is your spiritual gift. You see things others can't. You feel things before they happen. You know things without being told. Your spirit listens to things people try to hide. But these gifts weren't given to impress others. They weren't meant to be shown off or explained. When people see your light too clearly, some will admire it, but others will misunderstand it. They'll try to challenge you, shrink you, or silence you. Not everyone can handle the truth you carry. When you reveal too much of your inner vision, you open yourself to projection and harm. Insecure people might feel threatened by your confidence. Jealous people might try to copy or compete, and others may try to make you doubt your own power. That's why you have to let your gifts remain partly hidden, not because you're ashamed of them, but because full exposure is dangerous in a world that doesn't honor what it can't understand. Let your actions be simple. Let your words be soft. Let your presence be calm, and let your results speak in quiet, powerful ways. The more they wonder about you, the more protected you are. When people can't define you, they can't control you. You don't owe anyone an explanation or a demonstration. Your gift isn't meant to be a show. It's meant to guide your soul. And those who are truly meant to witness it will feel it without you needing to explain a thing. The same kind of protection is needed for your spiritual routines. The things you do in the quiet, your prayers, your meditation, your rituals, these are not performances. They are sacred technologies. They are practices your soul remembers from lifetimes before. When you light a candle at sunrise or whisper a mantra in the dark, you're doing more than calming your mind. You're aligning with something eternal. You're calling on energies that most people don't even believe in. But the modern world, with all its noise and distractions, can't recognize the sacred. It tries to turn everything into entertainment. It wants to watch, copy, label, and judge. And when your spiritual practices are seen by the wrong eyes, they lose their power. That's why you must keep them sacred. Do your rituals in quiet places. Speak your mantras in private. Keep your altars where only trusted energy can reach them. Not everyone deserves to witness your devotion. Not because you're trying to hide, but because what's holy must be protected. When you share sacred acts with people who only want to observe or imitate, the energy becomes diluted. People will try to copy your peace without doing the work. They'll try to imitate your glow without understanding the fire that created it. So let them feel your energy without knowing its source. Let them see your calm, but never hear your prayers. Let your strength be a mystery they can't figure out. That's how your power stays pure, by remaining rooted in the unseen. There will also be times when you feel like disappearing, not because you're running from life, but because life is calling you inward. You may find yourself pulling away from social events, conversations, even from people you love. Your heart may ask for silence. Your body may crave rest. Your soul may long for solitude, and it may not make sense to those around you. They'll ask what's wrong. They'll say you've changed. They'll worry or criticize. But what they don't understand is that silence is part of your healing. Isolation is part of your awakening. You are not falling apart. You are being transformed. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like quiet. It looks like long walks alone. It looks like sleeping more and speaking less. It looks like disconnecting so that your soul can reconnect. And the truth is, you don't owe anyone a reason. You don't have to explain your quiet phase. You don't have to defend your need for space. Not everyone will understand the kind of work your spirit is doing behind the scenes. And they don't need to. The most powerful transformations happen in the dark, like seeds breaking open underground. When you return from that quiet space, you'll come back wiser, stronger, and more grounded than before. But you won't be the same, and you're not supposed to be. And then there's your insight, your ability to feel what's really going on with people. Even when they pretend everything is fine, you pick up on the energy they try to hide. You feel their hurt before they speak it. You sense dishonesty without needing proof. And while this can be a gift, it can also be overwhelming. Sometimes, you'll know things about people they haven't even admitted to themselves. You'll feel red flags that haven't yet become visible. You'll hear the truth in between their words. But you must remember, just because you see it doesn't mean you should say it. Not everyone is ready to be seen clearly. And when you show someone a part of themselves they've been trying to hide, they may push you away. They may accuse you of being judgmental or too intense. They may paint you as the enemy, even when all you did was notice. That's why wisdom is knowing when to stay silent. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let people reveal themselves in their own time. You don't always need to speak what you see. Hold it with compassion. Keep it safe within you. If they ask, if they open that door, then speak gently. But if not, let your awareness be your quiet gift. You're not here to tear off people's masks. You're here to walk in truth. And sometimes that means holding space, not speaking truth out loud. Your insight is powerful, but it's most powerful when it's guided by love, not ego. Some people wear a mask their whole life. They build an identity based on pretending. They hide behind a version of themselves that isn't real. And after a while, they even start believing in it. It's fragile, like a costume barely held together by threads of denial. The moment you see through it, quietly, without saying anything, your awareness becomes dangerous to them. Your ability to see the truth threatens the world they've created. That's why you must protect your knowing. You don't have to correct them, confront them, or prove what you see. You just need to stay wise. Let them believe you don't notice anything. Let them assume you're innocent, unaware, or even naive. That's your power. Your vision isn't meant to be used for confrontation. It's meant to help you move with clarity. You're not here to expose everyone. You're here to walk your path with grace and understanding. So hold your insight close, like a sword you don't reveal unless absolutely necessary. Not everything you see must be spoken. In this world, the ones who survive are not always the loudest or the boldest. They're often the quiet ones who notice everything, who speak only when the moment truly calls for it, who understand the difference between truth and timing. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to defend what you feel. Just walk with quiet awareness and let your presence speak more than your words ever could. When you start to grow in any part of your life, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, mentally, or even financially, it's important to remember that growth is delicate. In those early stages, you're still soft. You're still figuring it out. And that's when you're most likely to be misunderstood, judged, or attacked. If you begin to tell the world too soon, if you announce every shift and every success, you give those who don't wish you well time to interfere. Some people will smile in your face and pretend to support you, while secretly hoping you fail. Others will plant tiny seeds of doubt, questioning your path in ways that slowly pull at your confidence. That's why it's wise to keep your transformation quiet. Let people think nothing is changing. Let them assume you're staying the same, while they look away. The most powerful changes happen in the dark, like seeds pushing through the soil, like roots growing deep into the earth. And one day, when you rise, it won't be a surprise. It'll be undeniable. You won't need to prove anything. Your glow, your peace, your energy will tell the whole story. There will be no need for announcements, no need for validation. You will simply be. You are not walking alone. Even when you feel like you are being protected. Maybe it's your ancestors who are guiding you. Maybe it's angelic beings standing beside you. Maybe it's the universe placing signs and shields in your path. But no matter what form that help takes, you are not without support. Still, not everyone can understand this. Some people will mock the things they cannot see. Some will challenge the unseen forces that walk with you out of ignorance or jealousy. Others will try to disconnect you from your spiritual safety out of fear. So keep your protection sacred. Not everything needs to be spoken. When you talk too much about the divine support you receive, you open the door for interference, resistance, and unnecessary confusion. Let your life speak for your guardians. Let your peace, your strength, your unshakable calm in the middle of storms be the only proof. When you walk through fire and remain untouched, that is enough. A truly protected soul doesn't shout about the shield it carries. It simply keeps walking, quietly, powerfully, with trust. You don't have to convince anyone of who you are. That's not your job. You weren't born to be explained. You were born to be felt, to be experienced. In a world that constantly wants labels, boxes, explanations, and performances, there will be people who try to make you define yourself in ways. Your depth is too much for shallow thinking. Your presence is not meant for everyone to understand. Trying to convince people of your worth, your vision, your truth, it's like trying to fill a broken cup. No matter how much energy you pour in, it won't stay. So stop. Let your energy speak for itself. Let your silence become your strength. The people who are meant to know you, to walk with you, to see you, they will recognize you without words. They will feel something in their soul when you enter a room. They will sense the vibration you carry. And the ones who don't understand, let them misjudge you. Let them misunderstand. That's not your burden to carry. You don't need to lower yourself to fit into someone else's tiny frame of understanding. Trees don't explain their growth to the forest. They just grow. They stretch toward the sky. Even when no one is watching, you're allowed to do the same. Your dreams and goals are precious. They are like seeds planted deep in your soul. But in the beginning, they are soft. They're not ready for the wind of other people's opinions or the harshness of doubt. If you speak too soon, if you share your next move with the wrong ears, you open your dream to all kinds of danger. Some people will smile and say they support you, but inside they're waiting for your dream to collapse. Others will offer gentle comments of doubt that slowly wrap around your confidence and strangle it. That's why silence is not secrecy. It is wisdom. It is respect for what is still growing inside you. Hold your dreams close. Speak only to those who have proven they can hold your vision without harming it. And even then, speak less. Your words carry power. Don't use them loosely. Every time you talk about your dream, you are letting some of its energy out. So choose your words like you would choose bricks to build a home. Carefully, intentionally, with strength. Let your actions speak louder than your voice. Let your results be the thunder that follows your silence. When you finally make your move, let it be so graceful, so strong that it doesn't feel like a message. It feels like a miracle. You don't need to declare your plans. You just need to become them. And never forget the sacred power of rest. Sleep is not just physical rest. It is a spiritual journey. During sleep, your body may lie still, but your soul moves. It travels. It listens. It learns. Messages come in dreams. Warnings arrive in symbols. Healing happens in quiet, unseen ways. To treat sleep casually is to leave yourself open. When you don't protect your sleep, you don't protect your spirit. Keep your sleeping space clean, calm, sacred. Remove clutter. Avoid loud screens and harsh lights before bed. Let your room be peaceful. Place salt under your bed to pull out negative energy. Keep crystals like amethyst or black tourmaline nearby to protect your energy. Respect your rest. It is during sleep that your energy is renewed, your soul realigns, and your purpose is quietly downloaded. This is when the deep work happens. If you neglect it, you're not just losing sleep, you're losing alignment, strength, and spiritual clarity. Your soul needs this time. Guard it, nurture it, honor it like you would honor something holy, because in the silence of sleep, your life is being restored. You weren't chosen for comfort. You were chosen for purpose. You were chosen to see what others miss, to grow where others stop, to walk alone when others follow the crowd. And for that reason, you must be more careful, more patient, more guarded. These aren't just tips. These are survival strategies for souls like yours, for people who carry deep purpose. Use them, live them, honor them. If this helped you feel seen, understood, or strengthened, stay close, because this isn't just a message, and it isn't just a channel. It's a lifeline for those who are quietly rising into their power.
Have you ever walked into a room and felt like the atmosphere shifted before you even said a word? Like something unseen yet powerful had just arrived? Chosen one, that's what your presence does. You don't just step into a space, you change it. You don't need to raise your voice or demand attention. The moment you enter, the energy in the room begins to move. People feel it, even if they can't explain what's happening. The air feels different, heavier, more alive. It's as if the moment is preparing itself to receive you. And it all happens before you even open your mouth. Women feel it instantly, even before they turn their heads to see you. It's a quiet pull, a deep awareness that someone unlike the rest has just arrived. It's not something they think about. It's something they sense. A subtle yet undeniable shift in energy that makes them alert, curious, and quietly drawn in. You carry the kind of energy that speaks long before your voice ever does. You don't chase attention. You don't perform. You don't shrink. You simply show up, and everything around you adjusts to that presence. That's why when you speak, your words land with power, not because you tried hard to be impressive, but because your energy already created the connection. Most men approach a conversation like a challenge to win. They overthink their words. They prepare lines. They try to impress. But you, chosen one, don't need tricks or rehearsals. You don't need to prove yourself. You speak from a place of stillness, certainty, and truth. You don't seek approval because you don't need it. You don't try to fit into someone else's world. You invite them into yours. Your presence speaks for you. The way you stand, the way you move, the calm strength in your eyes. It all says more than 1,000 words ever could. That's why when you do speak, people lean in, not just to hear what you're saying, but to feel what's behind your words. You carry weight, not from force, but from depth. You aren't loud. You don't demand attention, but you hold it completely. Women don't just listen to your words, they feel them. They don't just hear your voice, they feel the presence behind it. They sense that you're not performing, not seeking anything, not pretending. You're just real, and that realness is magnetic. It pulls them into a space where they feel safe to open up. It creates a moment that feels different from anything they're used to. You don't stumble into conversations. You shape them. You guide them without effort. You make people feel something deeper, even when they don't know why. Because when they speak to you, they aren't just talking to a man. They're stepping into an experience, a rare moment of truth, a pause in time where everything slows down and becomes more honest. That's why they open up around you. That's why they say things they never planned to share. That's why they feel more connected after just a few minutes with you than they've felt in years with someone else. It's not because of how clever your words are. It's because of how present your energy is. You aren't like the rest. You don't talk to fill the silence. You listen. You observe. You feel. You notice the things left unsaid. You pick up on the tension, the emotion, the quiet hopes people don't even know they're carrying, and you meet them there. You hold space for what they're really feeling. And that space, you, becomes a place of comfort, of truth, of something real. That's what creates lasting impact. That's what people remember long after the conversation is over. They don't just remember your words. They remember how they felt in your presence. And that feeling stays with them. It lingers. It grows. It becomes a memory they return to again and again, wondering what it was that made you different. You don't seek to control the moment. You are the moment. You don't try to be important. You let your truth speak for itself. You don't chase affection. You attract something deeper. People aren't drawn to you because of what you do. They're drawn because of who you are. And because of that, they feel safe. They feel seen. They feel understood. And for many, that's something they haven't felt in a long time. They realize, often without being able to explain it, that this is not just a conversation. It's an awakening. You don't stir temporary feelings. You awaken hidden ones. You don't just make people laugh or smile. You help them remember something buried inside themselves. A truth, a need, a longing to be understood. And in that moment, they realize they're not speaking to an ordinary man. They're speaking to someone who sees them completely. That's why your presence carries so much weight. That's why your energy isn't forgettable. That's why your voice doesn't just fill the air, it fills the heart. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters how you say it. And most importantly, it matters who you are when you say it. You don't make people feel nervous. You make them feel safe. You don't create confusion. You bring clarity. You don't play games. You offer truth. And in a world full of men trying to manipulate emotions or win approval, your honesty is refreshing. It's rare. It's powerful. It's unforgettable. But this power you carry, this gift of presence, it comes with responsibility. Because when people open up around you, they're showing you parts of themselves they don't show anyone else. You have the ability to make them feel more alive in one conversation than they felt in years. And that's something to treat with care. So always ask yourself, what am I leaving behind in this person? Are they more confused or more clear? Are they overwhelmed or are they awakened? Because a man like you doesn't just create emotional waves. He creates healing. He creates insight. He creates growth. You are not here to impress. You are here to impact, not to entertain, but to inspire. Not to be remembered for being interesting, but to be remembered for being real. And that, more than anything, is what makes you unforgettable. Most people go through life barely being noticed. Most conversations never go deeper than the surface. Most connections are temporary, shallow, and forgettable. But when they meet you, chosen one, everything changes. Because you see what others miss. You listen when others are waiting to speak. You feel when others are distracted. You care, quietly, but completely. And because of that, people leave you feeling more seen, more alive, and more connected than they ever expected. Not because you did anything loud or flashy, but because you were fully there, with your heart, with your mind, with your truth. That's what makes you different. That's what makes your presence a gift. That's why your conversations don't just begin, they transform. They create something unforgettable, something powerful, something people carry with them long after you've walked away. And that, chosen one, is your true power. There's something rare and powerful inside you, something that doesn't need words to be felt. It shows in your stillness, your eyes, your quiet confidence. People sense it before you speak. They don't just hear you, they feel you. You leave something behind when you walk away. You don't just make people react in the moment, you make them remember. You shift something inside them, and that shift stays with them long after the conversation is over. This presence you carry isn't about being flashy or loud. It isn't about trying to impress anyone. It's about being fully yourself, calm, real, grounded. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to perform. Your energy speaks for you. And when people experience that kind of presence, it wakes something up in them. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel alive. It makes them feel like someone finally saw them and truly listened. Some people won't be able to explain it. They'll just know the conversation felt different. Something about you will stay in their mind. A sentence you said, a look you gave, a moment of silence that said more than words ever could. You didn't try to impress them. You just showed up fully. And that kind of energy is unforgettable. That kind of presence doesn't come around often. That's why people remember you. That's why they think about the conversation long after it ends. But this kind of presence comes with responsibility. Because your words can move people. Your energy can shift them. And you're not just making small talk anymore. Every conversation you have now has the power to open someone's eyes, to stir something deep, to leave a mark they didn't expect. So you have to ask yourself, what am I leaving behind? Am I bringing clarity or confusion? Am I helping them grow or just giving them a feeling they don't know how to process? This is what separates someone who is liked in the moment from someone who is remembered forever. You don't just make people feel. You make them feel something that matters. You don't just hold attention. You use it to open people up. You bring them closer to themselves. And that is rare. But as your awareness grows, so must your wisdom. Because not everyone who is drawn to you is ready for you. Some will only want to take from you. Some will come close because they want the light they feel from you, not because they want to connect with you deeply. And this is where you must be careful. Just because someone wants your presence doesn't mean they deserve it. Just because they're attracted doesn't mean they're aligned. You must protect your energy, not with walls, but with wisdom. You don't need to say yes to every conversation. You don't need to stay just because someone asks you to. Some moments deserve your silence more than your words. Some people deserve your distance more than your attention. And the most powerful thing you can do is know the difference. True power is knowing where your presence is needed and where it's being wasted. Not everyone will understand what you bring. Not everyone is meant to hold it. You've seen it already. Some people are drawn to you because they feel your energy, but they don't honor it. They want the feeling, but not the truth. They want your presence, but not your depth. And if you give too much of yourself to those who aren't ready, you'll feel empty. You'll feel drained. Because your presence is not a gift for everyone. It's a sacred offering, and it must be shared with care. So now, with all this clarity, you move through the world with intention. You speak not just to talk, but to awaken. You don't just connect, you leave people changed. Not because you try to, but because the truth always changes those who are ready. And that's what you bring. You bring something real, something raw, something that reminds people who they really are. Women who speak to you may find themselves thinking differently about everything after. Not because you said something magical, but because they felt something deep and true when they were with you. They felt safe. They felt seen. They felt awake. And after experiencing that, they won't forget you. Even if they don't understand what happened, they'll know it was real. But now the question becomes, what will you do with this kind of impact? Will you let it be something that just feels good in the moment? Or will you use it with purpose? Will you allow your presence to just be admired? Or will you let it become something that lifts people, changes them, helps them remember who they are? The world is full of people who want to be seen, who want to be wanted. But few offer something that actually transforms others. Few carry a presence that lingers, that opens hearts, that creates space for healing. But you do. You carry that. You offer something that is so rare, people don't even know how to explain it. And that's why they will remember you. Not for what you said, but for what they felt when they were near you. Not because you tried to be unforgettable, but because the truth in you simply is. You're not just walking through life. You're leaving something behind in every conversation, every interaction, every space you enter. You're not just living. You're helping people wake up. You're reminding them of what's real. And that is the kind of presence the world never forgets.
Have you ever felt like your whole life is holding its breath, like something is about to change, but you have no idea what it is or when it will happen? Maybe you've been walking around with this strange, heavy feeling in your chest, like you're in between something, not where you used to be, but not quite where you're going either. If that sounds like you, then this message didn't just find you. It was sent to you. It was placed in your path at exactly the right time, because your soul has been quietly asking for something. A sign, a shift, a whisper from something greater than yourself that says, you're not crazy. You're not lost. You're right where you're supposed to be. This is not a mistake. This is not a coincidence. This message is part of something bigger. Something invisible but very real is guiding you through this strange and quiet season of your life. You may feel stuck, confused, or like you're floating through fog, trying to grab onto something solid. But the truth is, you are being held, not in punishment, not in delay, but in preparation. You're not lost at all. In fact, you've grown too strong, too aware, too sensitive to truth to ever really be lost again. What you're experiencing right now is a divine pause, a sacred moment between the life you've already outgrown and the life you're about to live. A life that fits you better. A life that doesn't require you to shrink or fake or run anymore. I know this space can feel painful. It can feel like you're underwater, trying to breathe, unsure how close you are to the surface. But that ache you feel isn't here to harm you. It's here to guide you. This pause isn't some error in your story. It's a holding place. A place where life is asking you not to move faster, but to come deeper. You are being asked to step forward, not into action, but into honesty. You are being invited to meet yourself in a way you may never have before. The next part of your journey doesn't want the version of you that's still trying to be small enough to fit in places that were never meant for you. It doesn't want the version of you that hides her truth just to keep the peace. This next season of your life is not going to respond to panic or desperation. It will only respond to presence, to truth, to stillness. That's why nothing is working the way it used to. The old habits don't soothe you anymore. The old distractions feel irritating now. Even the rituals and comforts you leaned on in the past may feel like empty motions, because you're not who you were. You're becoming someone new, someone more whole, more true, more awake. This moment you're in is not about choosing the next thing. It's about choosing yourself, choosing not to abandon yourself just to escape the discomfort of not knowing. And maybe that sounds poetic, but it's also painfully real. Because let's be honest, you've held yourself together through nights where you had no one to call. You've stood in silence so deep it rattled your bones. You've bent yourself out of shape trying to meet the expectations of people who never really saw you. You've smiled when you wanted to cry, kept going when you wanted to give up, and held space for everyone else while secretly feeling like you were falling apart. But despite all that, you're still here, not broken, not failing, but cracked open, tender, a little tired, and slowly, gently rebuilding. That ache in your chest that whispers, "What am I missing?" is not here to shame you. It's here to wake you up. It's peeling back the noise. Because when the outside world goes quiet, that's when you finally have the chance to hear the voice inside of you. The one that's been whispering all along. The one that's always known the truth. You don't need to rush this. You don't need to fix anything right now. What this moment is really asking for is intimacy. Not with someone else, with yourself, and that frantic part of you, the one that wants to move, to choose, to decide something just to feel like things are happening. That's not your guidance. That's just your old survival mode. That's the version of you who had to stay busy just to feel safe. The one who performed confidence, so people wouldn't see your confusion. But your body knows better now. Your spirit knows better now. You felt the change, haven't you? The things you used to crave don't feel right anymore. Some relationships that once felt warm now feel heavy. Even your favorite foods might not feel good in your body anymore. You might be dreaming more, feeling more, crying more, laughing less, but more honestly when you do. You might even feel like your body is rejecting anything that doesn't match the new life it's being asked to carry. This is not random. It's not weakness. This is your entire being shedding the noise. You are becoming unavailable to what drains you, and that is sacred. You were taught that clarity comes from thinking things through, from having a plan, from knowing the answer. But real clarity doesn't always show up like that. Sometimes clarity comes in the quiet. Sometimes it comes when we finally stop stirring the muddy water and let everything settle. That's what this moment is. A settling. A sacred stillness that feels like restlessness. But this isn't a mistake. It's not a glitch in your story. This is the breath before the breakthrough. You are not being punished. You are not in limbo. You are in alignment. You are in the middle of something holy, something that is shaping you from the inside out. The kind of change that isn't loud, the kind that isn't posted online, the kind that happens in secret, in silence, in the soft moments when you choose yourself in the dark. You may not realize it yet, but every quiet choice you've made, every time you said no to what wasn't right, every time you listened to your gut, every time you gave yourself a moment of peace, is forming the foundation of what's coming next. And when it arrives, and it will, you won't need to chase it. You won't need to perform. It will not need the curated version of you. It will need the real one. And it won't ask, "Are you ready?" It will ask, "Do you remember who you are?" The path will appear. The message will come. A simple sentence, a conversation, an email, a sudden knowing. It will shift everything, and it won't wait for your permission. It will need your participation, and you will give it, not out of panic, but out of peace. That's why this silence matters. That's why it feels like you've been waiting longer than your heart can handle. Because you are not being stalled. You are being sanctified. You are being refined. You are being asked to strip away the noise, the masks, the old stories, the outdated beliefs you didn't even know you were still carrying. Because you can't bring that weight into a future this precise, this aligned, this holy. That's why it's been harder to tolerate certain environments. That's why your body feels heavier in some spaces and lighter in others. That's your sensitivity waking up. That's your soul guiding you. You are learning the difference between energy that expands you and energy that contracts you. You are learning that what you once called normal might have actually been survival. And you are learning that your deepest power isn't in pushing through. It's in knowing when to release what no longer fits. If your nervous system has been louder than usual, tight chest, strange dreams, a deep sense of restlessness, it's not just anxiety. It's not just you being emotional. It's your body speaking a truth your mind hasn't caught up with yet. It's your spirit saying, "We're not going back there. We're not doing that anymore. We're not settling. You are being rewired." And that's uncomfortable, but it's also miraculous. So if today you feel heavy, tired, uncertain, emotional, or distant, please know this. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place. You are not forgotten. You are being remembered by the universe. You are not invisible. You are being seen by the divine. You are not lost. You are on your way. And when the moment comes, and it will come fast, without warning, and everything will make sense. Everything will feel clear. Not because someone handed you the answers, but because you became someone who could hear them. So don't rush the stillness. Don't judge the quiet. Don't run from the ache. Stay. Breathe. Listen. You're closer than you think, and you're not alone. You never were. You are being prepared for something real, and it's already on its way. Something inside you is changing, and even though you may not have the words to describe it, you can feel it in your body. You can feel it in the way your heart responds to things that used to feel safe, but now feel heavy. You can feel it in the way you react to conversations that used to make you feel accepted, but now leave you empty. You can feel it in the way your body tightens when you're about to do something that goes against your truth. You're not able to say yes when you mean no. You're not able to smile when you want to cry. You're not able to act like everything is okay when your heart is breaking. You're not able to force yourself to be okay with being half seen, half heard, half loved. There was a time when you could run on survival, when you could keep going by doing what was expected of you, when you could ignore your own voice just to keep peace around you. You made yourself small so others could be comfortable. You held your feelings in so you wouldn't be seen as too much. You twisted yourself into shapes just to be liked, just to belong. You lived for approval, for validation, for acceptance. But none of that works anymore. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your spirit has outgrown that version of you. That life doesn't fit anymore. That mask is too tight. That script is too old. And now, the discomfort you're feeling, it's not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're finally waking up. Your system is rejecting everything that once felt like safety, but was really just silence. Every part of you is pushing back against being unseen, unheard, and untrue to yourself. If you're wondering why you feel stuck, why clarity hasn't landed, why you're so unsure, it's because clarity doesn't live where it used to. You're used to looking for signs outside yourself. You're used to hoping someone else will say the right thing to help you decide. You're used to chasing advice, logic, or patterns to feel certain. But that's not how clarity will come anymore. It's not a voice in the clouds. It's not a glowing message in the sky. It's not a perfect plan with every step spelled out. Clarity is becoming something quieter, something softer, something deeper. Now it lives inside you. It speaks through the way your body breathes when something is right. It whispers through the peace that wraps around your heart when something is in alignment. It tightens your chest when something is off, even when everything looks fine on paper. Clarity is not loud anymore. It's not something that hits you all at once. It's something you feel in the spaces between your thoughts. It's the way your stomach sinks when you're trying to force something. It's the ache you feel when you're trying to convince yourself to stay in a place that no longer fits. It's the tension that rises when you ignore what you already know. And it's the breath that flows easily when you're finally honest with yourself. It's the way your whole being exhales when you stop pretending. That's how you'll know. That's how you'll choose. Because yes, a decision is coming. A shift. A moment that asks something of you. And when it comes, you won't choose from fear. You won't choose because you're scared to lose someone. You won't choose because you're afraid of what others will think. You won't choose to play small just to stay comfortable. You'll choose what feels true, even if it's scary. You'll choose what feels like peace. even if it's uncertain. You'll choose not because someone told you what to do, but because something inside you will feel alive when you finally say yes to yourself. That feeling? Resonance. It's quiet. It's not loud or demanding. It doesn't shout over your thoughts. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't rush you. It waits for you. It waits for you to get quiet enough to hear it. And this stillness you're sitting in right now, that's what it's doing. It's tuning you. It's helping you slow down so you can finally feel what you were always meant to feel. It's helping you hear your own yes. It's helping you stop looking for answers outside of yourself. It's helping you let go of all the noise, all the pressure, all the doubt. Because when your moment comes, and it will, you won't fumble. You won't hesitate. You won't need a second opinion. You'll know. You'll know because something in your spirit will rise and say, "This is it. This is mine." This isn't about making the perfect decision. It's about becoming the kind of person who no longer abandons themselves. The kind of person who listens when their heart speaks. The kind of person who trusts their own knowing, even when no one else understands. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs to be talked into staying small. Someone who no longer needs to be told what's best for them. Because they've learned to feel it. Because they've learned to trust what they feel. Because they've come home to themselves. And that kind of knowing, it can't be rushed. It comes through the stillness. It comes through the quiet moments when you choose not to run, not to distract, not to numb. It comes when you finally stop asking who you need to be for others and start remembering who you really are for yourself. You've already done so much. You've already healed things that no one even knows about. You've already faced parts of yourself that were buried for years. You've already peeled away the layers of who you thought you were supposed to be. You've already searched. You've already asked for more. And now life is asking you to pause. Not because you're lost. Not because you're behind. But because you're closer than you think. This pause is sacred. This stillness is necessary. It's where you remember what you truly asked for. You didn't ask for a life that just looks good. You asked for a life that feels right. You didn't ask for love that just looks pretty from the outside. You asked for love that touches your soul, that sees you, that holds all of you. You wanted truth. You wanted alignment. You wanted something real. And now you're standing at the edge of it. This moment you're in, it's the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. It's the quiet before the arrival. It's the breath before the leap. And even though you can't see the full picture yet, trust that everything you asked for is already being arranged. The right people are being prepared. The right timing is unfolding. The right opportunities are making their way to you. But they won't arrive through chaos. They won't come through noise. They will come through stillness, through softness, through peace, through that quiet voice inside that whispers, "This is right." So don't rush this pause. Don't try to skip ahead. Don't try to distract your way through it. This moment is not empty. It's full of purpose. It's full of grace. It's shaping you into someone who can actually receive what they once only dreamed of. It's turning you into someone who doesn't shrink in waiting. Someone who doesn't question their worth when things are quiet. Someone who doesn't need noise to feel valid. Someone who knows they are worthy. Worthy of what's next. Worthy of peace. Worthy of love. Worthy of being seen fully. And when the moment comes, and you will feel it, deep and clear, it will not be slow. It will come with movement. It will come with momentum. It will feel like the ground is rising to meet you. It will feel like the wind is behind you. It will feel like everything is shifting. And this time, you won't be afraid. You will walk forward, not because someone told you to, not because the signs were flashing, but because you heard your own yes. You trusted it. You honored it. And that kind of choice, that kind of trust, it changes everything. So take a deep breath. Let yourself rest in this stillness. Let yourself trust it. The pause is almost over. The silence is almost complete. And when life begins again, you will not be the same. You will not return to who you were. You will return to who you really are. Someone who knows how to listen. Someone who knows how to feel. Someone who chooses themselves without apology. Someone who can finally say, I'm ready now. I'm home in myself. And I won't betray that again. And that changes your path. That changes your love. That changes your life. Thank you for walking through this with me. If this touched your heart, share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if your soul feels pulled towards something next, follow that feeling. It's not random. It's resonance. It's your next yes.